How you doing, Mr. DJ? Back resuming countdown my fancy playlist of August the 10th, 1985. How you doing? It's Monday morning here in Tuscaloosa, and I'm going to try to chip in a couple of videos tonight as I resume countdown of this fancy playlist. One of the fancy playlists that I composed about, oh gosh, 32 years ago. Can't believe it's been that long ago. But anyway, Patti LaBelle was stirred up at number 34. Great dance record. Just burn up the dance floors, put on your dancing shoes, and get down on some Patti LaBelle. Making a comeback in the 80s with songs like New Attitude. That was in the spring of 85. And then Stir It Up, which didn't quite make top 40, but did well on R&B. And there was, of course, On My Own with Patti LaBelle and Michael McDonald. With Patti LaBelle, though, I always go back to her first hit record. It was called I Sold My Heart to the Junk Man. Just classic R&B soul girl group. Kind of like the Marvelettes. Maybe not as slick as the Marvelettes or the Shirelles, but still got that girl group sound. A classic, catchy record. Although there is some dispute whether or not it was actually the Starlets that they did the original version of I Sold My Heart to the Junk Man. But when it was released by the record company, it was credited to the Bluebells, or Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells eventually, and there's some confusion whether or not the lead singer of the Starlets, if her voice had been erased and replaced by Patti LaBelle's, and if the singers on the Starlets replaced by session singers. So there's some confusion about that. That's another story for another time, probably when I get back on my Sock Hop channel. But let's go. Well, here's the thing about I got to tell you about this though. This is wondrous. I love this. There's a couple of wondrous things I want to tell you about. First off, Patti LaBelle. Her first singing group was called I wrote it down, the Ordettes. It was called the Ordettes. There were about two or three other girls in the group. Two of them got married and they were replaced by three other women. One of them, Cindy Birdsong. Cindy Birdsong sang with Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells. Cindy Birdsong, who joined the Supremes in 1967. She replaced Florence Ballard. She sang on the Supremes hits in the late 60s and to the early 70s, post Diana Ross. She sang on Stone Love. Boy, she was fantastic. And there was, Sarah Dash, Nona Hendrix. Remember Nona Hendrix? Also a member of Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells. She was a member of the Bluebells. And of course, they had that hit Lady Marmalade in 1975, which was written by and originally done by Kenny Nolan. Well, let's go back to this song, Stir It Up, at number 34, produced by Harold Faltermeyer. God, he had that instrumental called XLF back in the spring of 85. Also co-produced by Keith Forsey, Forsey, in case I'm mispronouncing the word. Keith Forsey he co-wrote Flashdance by Irene Cara. Co-wrote that song with Giorgio Moroder and Irene Cara. He produced Billy Idol's debut album, solo artist Billy Idol. Pretty busy guy back in the 80s and the 70s too. He was into the disco scene in the 70s. Keith Forsey, at one time a drummer for Giorgio Moroder, who produced all those hit records by Donna Summer back in the day. But here's Patti LaBelle, produced by Howard Faltermeyer and Keith Forsey. At number 34 was Stir It Up on my fancy playlist of August 10th, 1985.